if you don't make more offers and follow a process like this that helps you to convert more of those offers to ongoing clients, if you don't do that, then you're not going to build a bigger business. All right. Hey, everybody. Rob here with Bestseller Publishing. Super happy to be with you again. Excited about the topic today because I think it's going to be really helpful to all of you. And of course, this is all about the start of 2020. And I've already teased some of my clients who are on about this really not being a new decade because there was no year zero, but I like to consider it a new decade anyway because, hey, whatever. It's more motivating to me. But I want to talk to you about 3 steps to getting more clients in 2020 with, of course, your book, and even better if it is your best-selling book. I have a lot to go over with you. I want to talk about those 3 steps. I want to share some very personal examples. I want to share with you the specific ways that Bestseller Publishing is using these 3 steps in these specific areas. And then I want to even give you some examples of how you can use it with paid advertising, without paid advertising, etc. But all about using this client attraction system to get more clients right away. And this is time-tested stuff. So this is not, well, it won't work because Twitter doesn't work anymore. It won't work because, we now have TikTok instead of Instagram. No. These are time-tested. This is about using your book, and this is about all different kinds of ways to use your book to attract more clients in 2020 than ever before. Okay, so let's dive in. I want to give you an overview, and then I'm going to go specifically into each one of these steps. So step 1 is to give value. Give value. I'm going to share with you exactly how we do that. Obviously, using your own best-selling book is the best way that you can give value, but we're going to talk more specifically about giving value. Step number 2 is after you give value, and even because of giving value, you build trust and the relationship. And then step 3 is making an offer. Now, let me share some general things, and then let me go over each one of these steps: the building trust, the giving value, the building trust in the relationship, and then the making offers. So number one, basic generality. If you want to make more money in 2020, if you want more clients in 2020, then you need to make more offers to people. It is that simple and that plain. Many people talk to me about the ways that they attract clients in their business. And I will say that the majority, not only of my clients, but the majority of business owners attract customers in their business by word of mouth and sphere of influence and basically hoping and waiting. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is a wonderful thing. I have a lot of it. Faith is a wonderful thing. I have a lot of it, sometimes more than others. But I prefer a strategy. If you want to make more sales, if you want to make more money, if you want to help more people, then you must make more offers. Now, if you want your offers to be successful, right? You want a higher percentage of success and a better success rate, then you need to do all 3 of these things, not just make offers. But I do want to explain that basic truth and generality. The more offers that you make, and there's many ways to do it, I'm going to share some of those, but the more offers you make, the more people you're going to help. It is that simple, okay? So to be really clear, if you add these elements in, giving value, building trust in the relationship, and then make the offer, then you're going to be more successful when it comes to the making of offers. But if you don't make any offers today, then guess what? You're probably not going to make any sales. If you don't make any offers this week, you're probably not going to make any sales. You're probably not going to help any new people. I know that that's not revelatory the way I'm explaining it, but if you don't think that way on a regular basis, then more than likely, you're not going to be doing these other things to position yourself to make offers. That's a generality that I want to explain and really help with. So let's go into details on each one of these steps, and then let me give you some real examples of what Bestseller Publishing is doing right now the start of 2020. Some of it we do consistently and in an ongoing fashion. Other things we bring in from time to time so that we have new ways to make offers, okay? Step number one, giving value. How do we give value? Well, there's two pieces to giving value. Number one, there's nothing more valuable that you can give if you've written a book to a specific market. You've shared your wisdom, you've shared your case stories, you've shared all of your successes and examples. There's nothing that you can give that has more value than that to that direct market. That's number one. You understand that. You're my audience, right? My clients, my audience. So you understand the value of a book. However, here's where I would maybe supercharge that for you. If you know specifically what challenges an individual client is facing or dealing with, then you can give really specific advice and help, which will be found within your book, but probably not all of your book. So you can actually use your book to narrowly target how you can be valuable to an individual. Now, what might that mean? I'll give a couple of examples of that. Let's say that you are marketing on LinkedIn. How do you market on LinkedIn? Well, you build relationships, you connect with people. There's another training you guys can find within the group of how we do that, how we teach to do that. And I'll probably update it and do one. But let's just say you're building a relationship, you're asking some questions, right? And you're finding out what challenges an individual business owner has. So if I were doing that for bestseller publishing, and let's say one of my author development coaches reached out to somebody that was a clear ideal fit for us. Let's say it was a financial advisor, just picking because that's where I started this whole process 12 years ago with my finance company. Let's say that we reached out to a financial advisor. We said, hey, we work with a lot of people just like you. We build a little bit of a relationship. And then we ask, hey, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing in your business right now? We might even give three things. We might say, is it finding new clients? Is it getting a higher level of client, someone that has more money that they want you to manage, right? Or is it that your closing percentages are bad? And I'm just pulling these out of the air because I know this industry, right? And then they respond back and they say, you know what, we're really good at closing clients and we love the kind of clients we have, but you know what, we just want more of them, right? We want more people to talk to. We want more opportunities. Fantastic, great. Then you pull out your trusty book. If you wrote a book, right, on helping clients, helping financial advisors to get more clients, let's say that I pull out my trusty book and I say, you know what, we have two examples in Publish, Promote, Profit, how financial advisors have used their own book to not just double, but triple or more their business by using their book to supercharge that trust and relationship building with people. Would you be interested in seeing those examples? Oh, of course I would. Great. So then I not only send my book to them, but I send also along with my book, I send maybe a sticky note or I send, just a couple of lines that say, hey, go to page 134 and go to page 101 because I share those case studies on page 134 and page 101. Now, what have I done? Well, I've given value because I've given my best-selling book, but I've supercharged that value by finding out what is the real problem, the individual problem that person has. Okay, so you need to figure out how you can give the most value to somebody in this process using your best-selling book. Okay, once you get past that, your book has been given, you've given that initial value, then what do you need to do then? Well, one of the cool things about using your book is that your book will by itself, as someone reads it, your book by itself will begin building trust in you, in your company, in what you offer. That's beautiful. But you need more than trust, right? People need to know, like, and trust you, especially if they're writing you a large check. So your book will do a good portion of that, but guess what? You need to do more than that. You need to build the relationship. Well, how do we do that at Bestseller Publishing? And here's my example of it. And I share this so that you can figure out how this would fit in your method. So for us, what we want to do is we want to, once this initial value has been given, it might be my book or it might be some case study or something, we begin building that trust in two ways. Number one, on a telephone call. We know that what we offer people is a high, very, very high value, and because of that, significant investment. No one is going to push a button right on the interwebs and give us, you know, a five-figure sum for us to do their book, right? So we know we need to let them know we're a real company, we're real people. If you're speaking to one of my author development coaches, then, you know, they're asking questions to get to know you, to learn even more about you. There's a relationship that's being built. There may be sharing things about me, right? Maybe I get on the telephone on a second call if somebody is interested in speaking to me, or, you know, as a welcome call, something like that. But we take steps to build the relationship. Now, something we do, we send out to every single person prior to them getting on a call with us, something that helps to further that relationship. And number one, it's what we call an indoctrination page, which I know it's a terrible name because we're really not trying to indoctrinate. We're really trying to build the relationship. Maybe I need to call it a relationship building page. That sounds a little bit more user-friendly. Anyway, that relationship building page gives several amazing case studies, right? Real case studies, testimonials, videos from clients sharing about their experience with bestseller publishing. And to take it one step further, what we always try to do is send one or two actual books in that client's niche that we did successfully. So because we've done books in dozens and dozens of different genres and niches, all for business owners, right? Nonfiction, then we can send out 2 or 3 examples of people that are really successful. Now, this furthers the relationship because they watch the videos, they trust us more, they get to know us, then they get on a telephone call with us, and we begin to deepen and build that relationship. Now, here's the cool thing. On that telephone call, you can do a lot. By the way, this doesn't have to take weeks. Sometimes the sales cycle is slow, but sometimes the sales cycle is very fast. So depending on what it is that you're selling and offering, you can do all of this very, very quickly, right? However, for us, this may take a few days. By the time that phone call is done and that relationship has been built, they've watched the videos, they've seen the various things that we've done, then guess what? We make the offer right on that phone call. As we're building trust and building the relationship, which is ongoing because of the book, because of the videos, because of the testimonials, because of the examples of books that we've done, right, in their direct space that says we know what we're doing, we then make an offer right on that phone call. We don't wait to make that offer. We want to strike while the iron is hot. We want to make the offer right now and speak to that person. The offer is made of a variety of different ways, and I'm actually going to go through and share a couple of different examples. I'm only sharing one right now, which is our BSP process. But if you're a coach or a high-level consultant or even a very high-level done-for-you business like we are, then this is a process you can follow exactly as we do, because this is worth multi-millions of dollars in sales and in revenue to bestseller publishing every single year. So we make an offer right there on the spot, on the telephone, and typically we're going to either then take some kind of deposit to move that person forward, or there might be another few days or even week of follow-up. Maybe they need to speak to a spouse, maybe they need to get a business partner on, whatever. But we want everything to be answered. We want to give great value. We want to build that trust. We want to build that relationship, and then we make the offer. And guess what? We do this, I won't say dozens of times a day, but 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day, because I have multiple author development coaches that work for me, and we use my book in conjunction with paid advertising, right? So that we have many, many opportunities to do this. Now, you don't have to do it that way. You can use a lot of these different resources, but I just shared with you our general process. However, there's lots of ways to make offers, okay? So I shared one of the things that we do at BSP on an ongoing basis. That is, we use paid advertising to offer this book to the marketplace for free. All we ask is that they pay for shipping, $7.95, and we give them a number of opportunities to buy the audiobook, to buy BSPU coaching, various other things, right? But ultimately, what we're really looking to do is get someone to fill out an application so that we can find out more about them, begin from the value given to building the trust to eventually making that offer on a phone call. This is something we do on a regular basis. However, Here's one thing that we're doing right now that we don't do on a regular basis. So tomorrow I'm doing a webinar. It is a webinar that I do every first week of January, and I've been doing it for probably 6 or 7 years of Bestseller Publishing's 8 years. This will be year 9 existence. And on that, it's always, on that webinar, it's always, hey, is 2020 the year for you finally to become a best-selling author? So what I do on that webinar, because I'm not directly using my book, I'm not sending my book to people, is the webinar is based on the elements of the book. Basically, there are 3 steps to the webinar: publish, promote, and profit. And I use the case studies and stories from the book, as well as a myriad of other case studies or stories. But what we do is we give value by offering this free training to people. I build trust on the webinar directly with people, and I make an offer right on the webinar. So all of this is done in just a few days. Typically, we start running traffic to the webinar 1 week out, maybe even 6 days out. When someone gets on the webinar, that's the time for me to build trust and build the relationship, and the offer is made right on the webinar for people to take action on, right? So completely different than my normal style of paid advertising to offer the book to people. But guess what? I'll have, 600 or 700 people registered for the webinar. I'll have probably 20 to 25, just giving you real numbers, 20 to 25% of those people that show up for the webinar. So I may have 120 to 200 people that show up for that webinar. And then I will make an offer. And typically speaking, my biggest webinar ever was about $320,000 in sales on that one training. And usually it's about a 6-figure webinar, because all of this is done right there on the webinar. The trust is built, the offer is made, it's a special offer. There's lots of elements that have to be involved, but it works like gangbusters, right? So nothing wrong with that. Now, something else that we're doing that's also brand new is we're using, well, I have social media in a general sense, but some of you know, because you became my clients through what I called the mentorship program, I started a new Facebook group offer. That Facebook group offer, I spent about $6,000 in paid advertising traffic via Facebook. And as of Friday, we've earned $74,000 from that $6,000 spent. So obviously I'm no dumb guy. So I'm like, okay, I can do that basic math. That's a fantastic return on investment. And I won't go into the details of how we ran that. There's another training on all of that. And I'm going to share more with you, because I've now taken an employee that is going to be solely focused on this. And we're going to be running 2 to 4 of these every single month. I think this one offer, right? Because all we're doing is supercharging this in a Facebook group, giving a massive value in the Facebook group over a week period, building trust by engaging directly with people, and then making an offer and closing the group. And we're doing that. And because it's a big market, I think we can do it in a very, very big way. I think it'll add 7 figures. I think it'll add $1 million in revenue to our company in 2020. Why am I sharing it? It's another way to make an offer and to build value. And guess what? The entire thing is based on the book. All the trainings are based on the book. Now, they don't physically have the book. Many of them do, because many of them came to the course because they saw my book or they bought my book, or, these things all kind of work together. But I just want you to understand that getting to this point, making offers in various ways, for us, for BSP, it's the ongoing, what we call strategy session applications. Offer the book, that's the value. Build the trust by sending out the relationship building stuff, get on a telephone call, and then bring on a new client. That's what we do every single day, day in and day out. And then I sprinkle in the other things, the webinars, the Facebook group stuff, LinkedIn connections, all those kinds of things, because we want to make more offers to people that we can help. And we want to do it in a way that is congruent with closing the most, right? Making the biggest impact, the best number of people that we can help, because that we've really helped them from the beginning, right? So they trust us. Now, I've shared 3 ways with you, but guess what? There's many, many others. And I've shared ways that cost money. You can do this without it costing a single dime. You can do this through your current email list. If you have 500 or 1,000 people on your email list, which is small, but if you have that many on your email list that are used to hearing from you, then guess what? You can do this. You can send out something that's called a 9-word email. And that 9-word email can be just 9 words that reactivate those people. Give you again an example. We've used this with bestseller publishing. So why are people on my email list? Because they want to write a book or because they want their book to be successful. So my 9-word email might be something like, hi, Rob, are you still looking to complete your book? Or are you still looking to write a book? Rob, that's it. And all you're looking to do is wait for them to give you a response. When you get a response from them through that email, totally free to do, you then look for ways to add value, right? You start in this process. You don't make an offer immediately. Okay, great. It's X amount of dollars. You know, here you can pay on this link. No, no one's going to take you up on that. So you start a conversation and you look for ways to give value. Fantastic. You say yes, that you're still looking to write a bestseller. Great. Tell me where you're at right now and tell me about, you know, what your book is about. They respond back. My book is about this subject and I've been stuck on A, B, and C. Wow, now I know where they're stuck. So I can give some specific value and I can start moving them into the second phase. Hey, we should get on a telephone call to talk about the ways that we could potentially help you. That's where we build trust and make the offer. You can do this through email, right? And it doesn't need to cost you a dime. And if you have any kind of email list, you should do this via email. What about direct mail? Well, direct mail costs you a little bit of money, but clearly direct mail is a way that you can get someone's attention immediately, right? Your email may go into spam, but let me tell you, if you send a mail piece to somebody, then they're more than likely going to open it. I open all of my mail at this point, unless it clearly looks like, you know, it's from somebody, not somebody personally, but something that I'm not interested in. And it's very easy to make your direct mail look interesting. You can do this via networking, right? Every networking conversation, if networking is something that you do, I don't do it because I have ways to make bigger impacts now through paid advertising, et cetera, than you know, as far as time value, than going out networking. But if you're trying to save money, right, your budget is low when it comes to reinvesting in marketing and in this process, and you do networking, fantastic. If you network with the right people, all you have to do is ask them a few questions to figure out how you can give value to them. When you ask those questions and they share with you and you immediately think, well, I have like 3 examples in my book of how they could turn that situation around. Give them a copy of your book and say, look, and that's if you have a copy with you. Let's say that you do. And you could say, look, on page 100 and 106, I have a couple of really specific stories of people just like you that I was able to help, and I think it'll be helpful for you. What are they going to say? They're going to feel like, wow, that's fantastic. If your book isn't with you, then what do? You get their card with their mailing address, and you say, you know what, I want to mail you a copy of my book for free. And then you put a yellow sticky note right on the cover of it, and you write, great meeting you. Go first to page 106 and 10 whatever, and because there are 2 great examples that I think you're really going to learn from, right? And then where do you go from there? Well, you follow up and you start building the relationship and building trust to the point where you can make an offer to that individual. So with networking, you do the exact same thing, right? You find out how you can give value, you get them a copy of your book in their hands, you build that trust, and then make an offer. You have to do this consistently. If you do it only once, then guess what? Your odds are low that you're actually going to close a deal. But if you do it 3 times a day, 10 times a week, then guess what? You're going to have 2, 3, 4 closings from that by building, you know, the trust and relationship, giving value, and then making an offer, right? So LinkedIn is a great way to do it. You don't ever have to, I mean, that's social networking, right? That's networking through the internet. You don't ever have to leave. Joint ventures of people that have the exact same clients that you do, right? And you're working together. Direct phone calls. Look, we have neglected this in bestseller publishing, and I decided that 2020 was going to be a massive change. So right now, there are like 15,000 physical copies of this book sitting on people's desks. Well, who knows where they are, but at one point they were sitting on their desks, right? And we've waited for these people to read the book or to reach out directly to us. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I have 15,000 people that gave me at least $7.95. They thought it enough, important enough to not just give me their name, their mailing address, their email address, their telephone number, but their credit card information and get my book. And you know what? We haven't called them. So I've made a commitment to change that. We're going to call every single person. We're not just going to wait for them to get to us. We're going to call every single person. That's going to be thousands a month of outbound calls that we're going to make. Now, guess what? My team doesn't have time to do that. So I am outsourcing that. Now, I'm not going to outsource that overseas because I want a, natural English speaker to be able to have that conversation. You could outsource it to overseas, but I prefer not to, because obviously communication is a big part of what we do at Bestseller Publishing. We want to put our best foot forward. But I am right now interviewing for people that can spend 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, however many hours a week it takes to call every single person, outbound phone calls. And then what are they going to do? Say, hey, did you get a copy of the book? Did you have a chance to read it? Hey, thanks so much for buying it. Tell me a little bit about your business, and let's see if there's a way that we can help, and then move them into a phone call to build the trust and then make the offer. That's it. That's it. It's going to be a simple script where we're giving value and then moving them through the process. I'm going to do that with every person that buys outbound phone call. You can do that too, right? Whether you have a team or can outsource it, whatever. Flyers, business cards, and then of course, the last three are the ones that I shared that we're doing directly: paid ads on a regular basis, webinars, social media. Now, this is a very incomplete list, right? Very incomplete. But if you want to help more people, you want to make a greater impact on the world, which means you will make more money, then you've got to make more offers. Now, I've given you a bunch of different ways that you can do that, and you can be as creative as you want with making offers. But understand this: if you don't make more offers and follow a process like this that helps you to convert more of those offers to ongoing clients, if you don't do that, then you're not going to build a bigger business, serve more people, make more money, right? Make a greater impact and income in 2020. You have to do these things to do it. And I've given you a dozen different ways to do it. Anyway, hey, that's Rob. That's our Bestseller Publishing Client Attraction System. It's a dozen different ways for you to use your book, and there's only 1,000 more, but this is at least a good start on 2020. I hope this is helpful for you. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Every week, we're posting tons more content to help you to publish, promote, and profit. So go ahead and subscribe now to the channel and click the bell icon to be notified whenever new content is available. And if you're interested in my latest book, Publish, Promote, Profit, just go to publishpromoteprofit.com.